What is up, my friends? Welcome to my channel, Divinity Incarnate. My name is Marissa. I have been reading tarot professionally for 3 years now, and it's such an honor for me to be sharing space with you guys and to be involved with your journey, to be hopefully a positive aspect of a positive force in your life of just aligning with those versions of self that you came here to be and really activating and acting on your soul's highest intention for being here. That's not the word I was looking for, but just really carrying out what it is you came here to carry out and being who it is you came here to be. And hopefully I can be a positive support system along that journey. Okay, so first, I just want to say I offer personal and private readings, year ahead readings, soul purpose readings, relationship readings. And if there's something you want to dive into that I don't already offer on my website, you can just reach out to me via email and I'll put together a custom spread for you. Also, I offer breathwork journeys. They're called metamorphic journeys. Metamorphic breath is what I've called it. It's an 1 to 2 hour guided experience where we create an altered state of consciousness using our breath, which allows deep healing to occur, great epiphany and insights. Some of the most profound realizations I've had in my own life personally are from breathwork journeys. Okay, and also know that I offer Kundalini yoga style breathwork and meditation containers where I guide you through a series of personalized breath and meditation exercises with a specific intention in mind. You can find all of this info on my website. You can also subscribe to my newsletter to stay in the loop with in-person offerings, group offerings, online, in-person, private, all of that. All right, so to get into this, there are 3 groups to choose from today. This is reading about where you've been and where you're going, a 6 of Swords inspired reading. This first card or this first group is represented by the Antique Anatomy Tarot. Here's an up close view. This next group is inspired by the Herbcrafter's Tarot. Here's a more up close view. Looking for anything that sticks out or what feels the most right for you. And lastly, this is from the Paulina Tarot deck. Here is an up-close view. No rush, my friends, but whenever you're feeling ready, we'll hop right into these readings. What's up, group number 1? Welcome to your reading. This is about where you've been and where you're going. Okay, so this is a reading inspired by the 6 of Swords card. All right, so we have that beautiful 6 of Swords in the beginning. And yeah, this is the Antique Anatomy Tarot. Just because I've been forgetting to say the name before each reading, even though I do include it in the description box. If you chose the Antique Anatomy Tarot, this is your reading. So right off the bat, I just want to point out you have 3 major arcana in this 5-card spread. So I'm really feeling, and just based off the cards that are coming up, that this is less about like a chapter in your life or a couple chapters in your life. And I feel like this is a big overview of just the intention for your soul in general within this incarnation. Okay, so we start off on the left side of the 6 of Swords with Temperance and the 3 of Rods or the 3 of Wands and Sadness. So this really does paint a picture of someone that has overcome quite a bit of their own internal demons. Okay, Temperance can even talk about like addictions and just in overcoming our own negative thought process, especially with the brain highlighted in this card. Just the way that we see the world, our levels of perception, how we see ourselves. And this is really telling a story of someone that has just experienced quite a bit. Wouldn't be surprised if you experienced quite a bit of loss in your life overall, group number 1. And you've had to work through a lot of grief and a lot of confusing emotions, probably from a very young age. And I'm also hearing that for the most part, maybe you've had some sort of support from elders in your life, but for the most part, I feel like these were things that you had to carry your own self through. These were situations that the level of depth available around you in terms of exploring human emotions and exploring why you feel so sad and exploring things that would make these situations make sense to you at a deeper level. you didn't really have that type of support. I am getting that you're an older soul for sure. And that's one of the reasons why. And so I feel like this kind of set you on your journey for seeking answers. This set you on your spiritual journey in some cases, or journey of sobriety, or journey of just becoming a better person, is wanting a better life for yourself and wanting just to feel better about yourself in general. You could have played around with like law of attraction techniques, methods, and just gone down pursuit of self-introspection, self-knowledge. I'm getting someone that's maybe read a lot of books and dove into a lot of podcasts and sought a lot of external resources. So you're definitely someone that I feel like, regardless of what you tend to go through, I feel like you do tend to thrive in chaos for whatever reason. And one of those reasons could just be just part of the traumatic response. Like, you really had to carry yourself through very difficult emotions, very difficult circumstances. And it was like you had no choice, is what I'm hearing, to make it through these things. And so I feel like you've always had this perspective, especially since being younger, that, okay, this is all for a reason and it's gonna get good. This is all for a reason, and, I'm not stuck in this forever. It's like you always, despite what you have been going through, you've always had this optimistic outlook on what's to come. Okay. And I feel like, on the right side, we have strength, we have Hierophant, we have stop, and we have hunger. With stop coming up underneath strength, I wasn't quite sure at first what that meant, because I only pulled one card, and then I pulled another just to get deeper insight, and the way they lined up under the tarot made it make so much more sense. So I feel like this is really saying it's quite clear that your incarnation is really here as one of service. So that does tend to be the mark of an old soul, is we're still going to learn as long as we're on planet Earth. You're still going to learn 1,000%. However, a big part of why you came here is as service to the planet and to help undo generational karma. Okay, that's where strength comes into. Both strength and temperance can talk about addictions too, and just negative habits, negative behaviors, negative thought processes. So it's almost like everything that comes into your life that I'm getting, like your whole life, is this expression of wanting to be better and wanting to feel good in your skin and wanting to have less suffering in your mind and a much lighter experience of this planet and true happiness that can't be taken away from you. And so you're definitely here to put an end to suffering within yourself, to get a good look at your own misperceptions within this world, and to see in a lighter way, to see in a brighter way. And with the Hierophant, this just tells me you have such a hunger to know these things. You have such a deep desire to continue to look outside of yourself and gain greater access to knowledge, resources, and tools to help you get better. So I'm getting someone that is like into biohacking, someone that would be really well versed in like meditation, mindfulness, breath work, these things that just help to calm the nervous system, like things that help reprogram your mind, right? Hacking your biology. Someone, again, that would even be understand like epigenetics and how, on a physical level, how, trauma affects the genetic functioning of our offspring when it's not been processed properly, etc. And even, when people have been working with it, if your mother experienced trauma while you were in the womb, that's definitely going to affect you, that kind of thing. Someone that would be really aware of these things. I feel like I'm seeing a lot of like herbs and plants on this too. So you might be into herbology or herbalism, Ayurveda, just a really natural approach to just seeking balance, which really what set you off on your journey to begin with, where you've been someone that felt very imbalanced within themselves, very not comfortable in their skin. And so not only do you have a hunger to understand these things and know these things, but you also have a deep desire to teach these things as well. And that's where you're headed. And if you're not already doing this to some degree, which I would be honestly surprised if you're not already sharing to some degree, your knowledge, your spiritual knowledge, herbal knowledge, whatever it is that you tend to naturally be gifted at, and what has helped you to come into greater harmony with your own self, that's what's to come. where you're going is someone that is seen as an authority figure within this field. And, it's like fire lighting fire. The fire that you have towards these things, the things that you're passionate about, is only going to inspire others along the way as well. And so again, this is like a beautiful depiction of the hero's journey is what I'm seeing. The hero, what is that? The hero starts off not knowing, just seeming like a regular person, feeling like a regular person, feeling actually like they don't have much to offer, and probably like a POS, a piece of what, and for whatever reason, bullying, just parents, just feeling misunderstood. Old souls do tend to have this mark of not feeling like they belong here. If you identify as being a starseed, that could also be a thing, really feeling like Earth is not your place. And so they start off feeling very awkward within who they are, very imbalanced in who they are. And then they set off for this Three of Wands energy. They set off on this journey. And, the Swords family is all about conflict. And the Six of Swords and the Four of Swords, I believe, would be, well, I guess the Ace of Swords as well. Those are like the only three cards that are actually like not negative, or just like not unwanted, right? They're definitely welcomed cards, welcomed numbers in the Swords family. And so Six of Swords paints this picture of overcoming deep loss, overcoming tragedy, sadness, betrayal, overcoming all of these obstacles. And this doesn't even have to be betrayal from others. It could be self-betrayal, the ways that we betray our own self to please other people, to try to fit in, the way we sacrifice our own truth to make other people happy so we're understood, right? And so it tells a journey of going through all of those obstacles, and now you're emerging from the other side, right? So you've already been through this, right? You're still on this path of self-discovery, but I feel like the hardest part is over. And now you're emerging as this beautiful teacher. You're really stepping into your own skin more than ever before. And, just understand that there's going to be remnants of these past versions of yourself, remnants of these past ideas of yourself. And so you might always have a little bit of imposter syndrome. You might always experience a similar type of neuroses that has followed you around your entire life. And the best spiritual teachers will tell you that they, years of meditation, decades, devoting their whole life to meditation and sitting in darkness for 10 days and, being in front of gurus and being around people where this is literally their whole life. They would even tell you that none of their neuroses went away. They just stopped identifying with them. Their relationship to those things changed. And so I really feel like that's just a reminder from your guides that even if it feels like you might still have these remnant things come up, that doesn't mean you haven't grown, and you've come much farther than you think. And I feel like you're already seen as an authority figure to some degree, and I am getting it's a greater degree than you even realize, in terms of the amount of wisdom you carry, the amount of just like natural intuition you carry. And I feel like you've been exploring these things for some time. And so they say when you research something or study something for like 5 years, you're pretty much an expert, when you're devoting your life to something that long. And, time is whatever, it's an illusion. And I am getting that these are things that you're not just like beginning in this life. A lot of this is very intuitive to you, and like you're kind of picking up where you left off. And so I do feel that you're just meant to be a really great teacher, and meant to be someone that brings a lot of comfort to people and understanding to people. Your perspective and your way of articulating things, and just the nuances you had to explore within yourself around your own karmic blockages and your own psyche. You've really explored the nuances, and that's what is going to make you so good at articulating these messages, and what makes you so good already. And I just do see someone that continues to be a wiser and wiser teacher, and someone that's not trying. What I love about strength, it's not a brute force kind of card. It's a very divine feminine, right? The Chariot is the masculine form of overcoming obstacles. Strength is the feminine. And so it's a very soft, yet powerful presence with the Hierophant that you're here to offer. Very, very soft, very unforced, very unassuming. But it's like the power behind your words when you do speak, the power behind your gaze is quite powerful. And I do feel like, this is just the beginning for you. And you have you have a lifetime of deepening knowledge, and I just feel like you get so much. You're going to continue to get so much just out of sharing what it is you know. And the more you share, the more that you're going to receive. The more you share your insights, the more you share the things that how you see the world, and offer different perspectives to people to help undo their karmic blocks, offering different perspectives to people around areas that they might be stuck in, or they, offering different ways of understanding things that allow people to feel a bit more free in their expression and to release some degree of shame and sadness and, tethers. You're really good at that, and you're only going to get better. And so, I feel like, how much more can I say to finish off the hero's journey? You start off as like this awkward human that doesn't know who they are. You feel awkward, and then you emerge as all the challenges you went through were only meant to shape you. And I feel like you've known that for some time. And so you've kind of like leaned into your challenges, and you're emerging this beautiful individual. And again, the hero emerges, and they know who they are. They know what they came here for. So you start the journey not really knowing who you are, what you're here for, and you emerge from the Six of Swords. But that doesn't mean the challenges don't stop coming. You just have a different experience of yourself within those challenges. And it's like any master is always fine-tuning. And so now is the work of fine-tuning, and you've been consistently fine-tuning. And I feel like your hunger and your passion for life is only getting greater. But at the same time, you're just becoming much more soft, much more radiant, much more subtle in your expression. And that's a true mark of a master is they have this subtle radiance. Doesn't need to be in your face, right? The most beautiful aspects of an incarnation are the subtle ones, the spiritual ones, right? Because the more gross, the more in your face it is. When I say gross, I mean like, 3D, the bigger, the more it seems like there's been less fine tuning and there's more to prove, right? But more and more, there's like, I don't have anything to prove. And because so, you're going to be much more authentic, much more relaxed in your expression. And I'm excited for you. This is pretty dope. Thank you for being here. Thank you for your service. This is truly only the beginning. And I'm sure you've felt that and heard that. And I feel like you'll continue to feel that no matter what aspect you are in your life. It's just like, it's going to keep getting better. And when I say better, like internally, and because so what happens externally is just going to mirror that, right? So group number 1, I'm going to leave this reading here for now. Thanks for tuning in. If you did tune in to this one, is there a brain emoji? Can we leave like a brain? I think there is. Leave your brain emoji in the comments below. Share anything about your personal hero's journey in the comment section. If you don't want to comment, please at least like this video or do both. That really helps the channel. And I hope to see you soon. Much love. Hey, group 2. Welcome to your reading, where you've been and where you're going. I'm stoked to be offering this message to you today. I feel like there's something that I need to tell you first. I feel like, what did I have to preface the other group with? I can't remember. Oh yeah, I just wanted to remember to say the name of the book. This is called the Herbcrafter's Tarot. Sorry, not the book, the deck. Herbcrafter's Tarot. If you chose the Herbcrafter's Tarot as your reading, as your card, this is your reading. So, wow, I don't really know where to begin with this group. Honestly, the last group was popping too, and this feels like another one of like a really powerful reading as well. Very honored to be reading for souls such as you guys. So the cards on the left represent where you've been. The cards on the right of the Six of Air represents where you're going. With all this red, you can't really tell because like the lighting is funky in my home, but these are red. This is orange. They kind of look the same color. So I kind of wanted to start with that you have a lot of fire, group 2. You've got a nice balance of water across the top of the board as well, but you definitely, so a good sense of intuition. All right. A really good sense of like how you make decisions is based on feelings. Like, that personality thing is coming up in my mind, the IFNJ, the INJF or something, whatever. You make decisions more based off how you feel is what I'm getting, and what just feels right, even if people don't understand. Even if it's like, I'm just getting you're very not with the mainstream. And so, whereas even if you're just penny pinching, but it would take so much more energy, and it would just give you the heebie-jeebies, the creepy crawlies to succumb to things that penny pinching. Okay, I'm sticking with this analogy. Even if you'd rather be between a rock and a hard place and just barely making it by, but like living like comfortably, not having a lot of stress, rather than living a lavish life, like working so hard, like 5 days a week, spending all of your time at a job just to like have this luxurious lifestyle, but be exhausted. Like just going with that analogy, I'm just hearing that you make decisions a lot differently than most people, and you really question like deep down how it makes you feel. I am getting with justice and stop, however, that you might have gone through a period recently within the last couple of years where it just felt like things were kind of like slowed down for you in a good way, I feel. It really helps you to get into greater harmony with your own self and greater balance with yourself. Whenever I see cannabis personally, I can't help but feel like it's a time of like reflection, and a time where for me, when I used it when I was much younger, I just would notice like it was a devotional thing. I would like pray before, and I would just notice how the walls that currently housed my current state of consciousness, I would see them like come down. I would feel them come down, and I just had such greater insight into myself, into my life circumstances. And so I'm kind of getting that you were in that kind of period. The water also in this plantain picture reminds me of that too, just reflection. So I feel like you were in a period of pause, and where you really had to get clear on what it is you were doing, and why you were going the certain directions you were going, why you were like what really mattered to you. Okay. And the Passion card reminds me of the Ace of Wands, and then we also have the Ace of Water here. And so I feel like most of your life, it's, again, you've made decisions on what felt the most exciting to you, or at least that's what you started to see, is that when I do things that I'm excited about, that energy carries me, and that energy is magnetic. And so I feel like recently you might have made some sort of decision that really led you down a new pathway. We have the Ace of the Ace of Water is all about an awakening of the heart, and we're just like so in love with life and the people in it, and it's like really opening the channel between our higher self and what our earthly experience, our earthly form, and allowing that to pour through. And passion just tells me there's so much fire and dedication and like a hunger, and just it's an unstoppable force. And so I also was getting something about just like a spiritual awakening, just because we go through like these, I'm seeing like the lower chakras with the red and the orange, and then we just jump to the purple. And so it's like, that might be kind of like what you tend to do. You might just tend to have like leaps in consciousness, or leaps of like timelines in general. Yeah. I feel like you went through some major kind of timeline shift where you were just like activated after a period of pause and reflection, and getting more clear about yourself and doing what's right for you. I feel like you've kind of put a pause on people pleasing. That's in the past, and really learning how to you really learned how to just like own who you are and who you came here to be. And you understand now that to do the right thing is to follow what your heart is guiding you towards. To do the right thing by everyone is to follow what feels in your gut of guts and your heart of hearts like the right path. And I feel like you used to explain yourself maybe, or try to explain yourself, or doing the right thing for you was like somehow sacrificing what felt good, sacrificing what felt authentic. And so I feel like you maybe in the past have like stifled your creativity and stifled what your heart really wants. And I just see you as someone who has gone through a lot of reflecting, and this Six of Air shows like feather pens. And so again, I'm getting more emphasis of like writing and journaling and just taking time, like introspection. It's honestly a continuation of the cattails that we see here. That looks like a cattail. I thought it was a cattail, but yeah, something about the invasive species of the cattail came up. So I feel like it's been a letting go of like invasive thoughts and just invasive people that feel like, that they can just, and I know this is done with love, but just like interject their ideas and, just like offering their opinions to you without you asking, just like interjecting their way of seeing the world. And not maybe understanding why you see the world the way that you do. And speaking of world, I mean, we have a beautiful spread on the right side of the Six of Air. We have energy coming up under the world, like literally sharing your energy with the world. I mean, they're both circles too, which represents like completions of cycles. Pachamama is all about sharing. We have the butterfly with transformation, acknowledging the transformations you've gone through. This also alludes to the fact that so we have ace here. And so all of the aces are pictured in the corners. So we have the ace of air pictured. We have the ace of fire. We have the ace of water. We have the ace of earth. All of the herbs are pictured in this picture. And this kind of alludes to everything that we've learned through these journeys of the aces, everything that you've learned, all the lessons you've learned, they'll keep coming up, but in ways that allows you to fine tune. So I feel like you've gone through a lot of growth in your life. That doesn't mean that you might not still revisit areas or, things might still rear their head as you go in a new direction, as you go down a brighter timeline that's more authentic to you, that's more guided by intuition, that's guided by how things feel. And that just allows you to come alive more and more where you're going. Yeah, you're just like completion. Like you really, where you're going is I feel like you'll be able to like leave this incarnation feeling really good about what you did. You'll be able to leave this incarnation. I'm guided to share you the story and what my guides are showing me right now in my mind's eye, but it's how my grandfather left this July 2023, end of July. And he was surrounded by my grandma, so his life partner, one of my uncles, and my cousin, who was old enough to be like my aunt. And he, as he was like nodding off, as he was taking his final breaths, he said, "This is perfect." He said, "My life has been nothing but I have such beautiful memories. I've created such a beautiful life here. I've lived such a full and beautiful life." And he was like, "I wouldn't change any of this." He's like, "This is perfect." He had so much peace when he was passing away because he felt in his heart of hearts, in his soul, that he came here to do what he came here to do. And I feel like there's no greater way to leave this planet. And that's the trajectory you're on. Okay, if you can keep leaning into your intuition and keep releasing ideas of who you've been and who you need to be for other people, and you keep doing right by you, by your higher self, because there are people that are meant to be inspired by you. There are people that are going to be impacted by what you have to share. Yeah, with the Six of Air, I'm seeing like writing, I'm seeing expression, I'm seeing like sharing your message with people in some sort of way, very introspective person, and this contagious type of energy where people just feel more alive around you. People feel like they can breathe, like you're a breath of fresh air, because the way you see the world is so much different. Three of Water talks about sharing with people, talks about community, okay, talks about creating a new world with other people, leaning into your connections where people see the same way that you do. And I mean, this is just a most beautiful, even though I'm sure you've like started off, because we do see root chakra stuff over here. So even if there might have been some like root chakra things that you were working with. And so like what I'm getting by that is like anxiety, maybe even anger, maybe even like jealousy you've worked with, the more gross, unintegrated aspects of the fire element. As you go through this fine tuning, this shows a process of fine tuning. The more you refine fire, like people love fire and the qualities of fire, which is intuition, radiance. It's being a good teacher. It's being able to digest information and to extract the nutrients of things that happen for us. People love those aspects of the fire element, but people don't like the other aspects of the fire element that are also part of fire, equally part of fire, which can be moments of rage and outburst and agitation, irritation, jealousy, right? And so this is a process of refinement. So I do see you going from someone that is a little like much less refined and just in a short amount of time, it seems like you just go through this leap. Okay. And I feel like that is just tends to happen to you in your life, where it's like you become aware of these things that you don't necessarily they're not fun, right? Jealousy isn't negative. It's just not fun to experience. And so these aspects of yourself, your personality that aren't fun, whatever those are for you, maybe you have a lot of anxiety. And you see how it's not fun, because the more anxious you feel around people, the less it is for you to be your most authentic self. And you know that your most authentic self is the best version of you. And so you're like, I don't like this part of myself, and I'm not going to shame myself for having this, but I'm just going to recognize it's just not fun. And I have so much to share. And who I am is, who I came here to be at the core is very beautiful. And I want to share that. And so going through these processes of pausing and identifying these things and taking the time to learn about these things and learn how you can heal yourself, because you chose the Herbcrafter's tarot. I mean, this does guide me to assume that you're into herbology or even Ayurveda. I'm like literally talking about the elements, pulling on my Ayurvedic knowledge from studying Ayurveda. And so that all, I guess, is all to say that I feel like you're really in tune with like natural forms of healing and seeking alternative ways of healing and alternative ways of existing in this world in general. But yeah, I do feel like I just see a network here. I just heard network as I looked at this energy card, and the 3 of water too just reminds me of a network and a global network with the world as well. And so, yeah, I feel like you're just meant to be seen. You're meant to just like, your message is meant to be shared with the world in some way, or at the very least, it's like the energy you emit, what you do behind closed doors, like also not discounting that, discrediting that, even if it doesn't feel authentic for you to, want to share your message, because there's so many people doing that, and there's nothing wrong with that. Like, I was just thinking how much I love TikTok, how much I've learned about myself, and just there's such genuine people just sharing such beautiful perspectives to help set each other free, even if that's not you. Just there's so much to say about like people that are just emanating a really pure vibe from their own home are doing so much more than people. And there's this no comparison. I guess it is, whatever. This is a comparison. People that are emanating such purity and beauty and just like calm and just this delicate but powerful energy within the comfort of their own home are doing so much more than people that are trying to help the world, but doing it from a scattered energy, doing it from an angry energy, So just whatever feels right to you, just keep doing it. I mean, I feel like where you've been and where you're going is just a continuation, but you're just becoming more refined is the message that continues to come up. And there's so much excitement when you have to offer. You're contagious. Like, people love being around you. They always have. And more and more, I feel like people would just, from your past, would just say, yeah, you're like the same, but you're just like so different at the same time. Like, you've always carried this wisdom about you, group 2, and you're just getting more comfortable in your own skin and sharing it and your delivery and being yourself in all situations, being yourself no matter who's around, not holding yourself back, holding your message back, depending on like who's in the room with you. And yeah, you're definitely completing a lot that you came here to do. What your soul intended for you to do, you're doing it already. You're on that highest timeline. And I just see a life of peace and true fulfillment ahead of you. And just laughter and tears of joy, tears of sadness, just living the human experience fully, right? A beautiful array of all of the chakras, all of the emotions here. But what's highlighted is the purple. What's highlighted is this wisdom. So you're in the world, but you're not of it. You're living your life, but you know that it's temporary. You know that this is not your permanent identity. And more, you're just rooting yourself in that permanent identity. And becoming more finely tuned and more attuned to your higher self, your soul self, and not needing such jarring wake-up calls because you're paying attention, because you're leaning into your lessons. And people are going to be like, how do you do it? And you'll be like, let me tell you. Let's sit down for some tea and crumpets, and I'll tell you. But I feel like naturally that's just going to happen. Naturally, if it's not already happening, people will be coming to you for advice, and maybe even group settings. You're just like, all right, let me just gather you all together since you're all asking me the same shit with peace and love. All right, group 2, this was a beautiful reading. If this was your reading, go ahead and leave a rainbow emoji down below, or a world emoji, or both, the world and a rainbow. If there's nothing else you want to share, please also give this video a thumbs up if you extracted something from it. And I do hope to see you soon. Much love. Hello, group 3. Welcome to your reading, where you've been and where you're going. This is a reading inspired by the Six of Swords, and this is from the Paulina Tarot deck. All right, so also want to preface and say this reading was also inspired by someone on TikTok. All right, I don't know this guy's name. I can't think of it right now. But yeah, just want to give credit where credit's due. Okay, so where you've been. I feel like this is signifying a chapter in your life versus maybe like the whole of your life. I feel like you guys have been in a state recently where you're making some good memories, I feel. You're making memories with people, maybe a significant other, someone special in your life. This could be with just family or chosen family. But I feel like there is a highlight here of, there's two things of creativity. There's a spark of creativity that the Page of Wands is holding. And creativity here is shown by like a light bulb. And so I feel like you have just been in a state of flow, like divine flow with the universe, and feeling very excited about life and excited about who you get to share life with, the memories that you're making. And just so you know, the cards on the left represent where you've been. The cards on the right represent where you're going, but have no fear, okay? Because I know we see pain and rejection come up. I was like, guides, I'm confused too, because we're off to a good start and it should only be getting better, right? Right, and that's true. And so this just tells a story of like you've gotten to a point in your life where you feel really good about where you're going. You feel really good about the people that you're surrounded by. You feel extremely grateful about maybe your career, even if you're somewhat new in a field, or this new venture that you're starting, or this new chapter that you've recently begun. You're feeling very fulfilled on an emotional and creative level. Like you're just excited about what's to come. And what is to come is we have Six of Wands, so success. We have King of Pentacles, which is ultimate success. There's so much here that talks of success, and there's so much here that wants you to reframe your normal human emotions, which are still going to come up. Okay, there's like an emphasis of like you're in a good space, but also like with all like the just because you're moving into greater timelines doesn't mean that you're not still going to feel remnants of these negative emotions. And I just see you bulldozing through pain. I see you bulldozing through feelings of rejection. I see you as someone that regardless of these things being here, regardless if you feel these emotions still and you go through things or like you feel, you have moments where you feel embarrassed, or like you have moments where you feel anxious, or like, I just feel like you guys are really hard on yourselves. And I feel like a big part of this reminder here from your guides is that regardless of those things being here, they've never stopped you before and they're not going to stop you. This is just, I feel like a really beautiful expression or a very beautiful representation of all that it takes to be great in a life and all that it takes to meet ultimate success in your life. Is you're going to go through these moments of pain. You're going to go through these moments of rejection. And I feel like this is also an acknowledgement somewhat of the things that brought you to this really good place, and how it's almost like to not, there's a saying in the Tao that's like, that essentially, I'm going to butcher this, but that's basically the Tao Te Ching. Is a very ancient text on just how to live in alignment with the flow of things, how to live essentially a really beautiful life authentic to you. And basically it said, no one really knows the true author, but the author says, or it is said, or this compilation of authors and voices pretty much says that I can feel you guys being like, Marissa, get to the point already. Oh my God, did I lose it? Oh yeah, just to take as much care in the end as you take in the beginning. Okay, so as you start to take off in your career, and as you start to really take off and your finances are growing, and it's kind of like that, don't forget where you come from kind of thing, and what's led you to being here. It's like, I feel like this is also just saying that you're going to have a natural sense of humility, even despite this greatness. Like whatever you guys are doing in this world, like you are meant to be known. You are meant to do great things. You are meant to like be very successful in this field. And I feel that you've always known that. You've always felt that. And it's just like, I don't know what you guys are on or what you're doing, but it's like in your most recent past, like things have gotten really good for you, and they're only going to get better. And there's like, I just feel like an acknowledgement of when you're in this consistently only getting better. I just feel like there's a very sobered sense that you have about what's gotten you here, and a very sobered sense of how short all of this is and how temporary all of this is. And it's like the little things aren't going to get to you anymore. The little things are a lot easier to roll off, right? Because you know who you are, and you know where you're going, and you know, even if you don't know exactly where you're going, you just know that just by being authentic to you, you're going to get to a really good point. And part of getting to that really good point is just honoring all parts of this journey, the good and the bad, the ugly. And so I feel that, this is your guides, just essentially a reminder from them, just of, to remember your roots and where you came from. And I feel like to some degree too, just being a wise elder for other people and helping them navigate similar things, helping them navigate similar circumstances. And this is just like an acknowledgement of really how far you come. I feel like this is just a gassing you up of like you're still here, and you're in a place that is so much better than you could have even imagined. And you have had to overcome and face a lot of darkness within yourself to be here. And I feel like you've used these past wounds and these past hurts, and they've only fueled you to becoming an even better version. It's just like, it's like you're carrying this sense around you of like, you really appreciate where you are and the people in your life. And even if you have, like, for example, like someone that you really love, right? There can be this, you can like really love someone and be like, yeah, like I want you to stay in my life. That'd be pretty dope. But there's also an understanding that even if something had happened, that you would use whatever pain that is to fuel you into being an even better version of yourself. And so it's like, we have preferences and we have things that we desire and don't desire, but it's like, no matter what happens, group number 3, like you're moving into this person. I feel like you've always been this person of no matter what happens, it's just more fuel to your fire. It's just going to make you more. And so you're just like, it's this bring it on attitude that you're having. And you're just so grateful for the things that the people that said no to you, the opportunities that said no to you. And this is just an acknowledgement that you, along this journey of your King of Pentacles energy, like you might, even though you're like in this state of high creativity, like don't let that get you down when, like you're like, oh, I have this idea for a book, and you're rejected by publisher after publisher after publisher, right? And you're like, don't start to think that that means it's not for you. If you deeply feel that this is where your creativity is guiding you, because it's just, rejection is protection. It's divine intervention. You're being guided to something even better. So that's the kind of thing that the King of Pentacles has gone through rejection. The King of Pentacles energy or archetype has seen a lot of loss, has seen a lot of no's, has seen a lot of pain, rejection, all of the above, and they continue to persevere regardless. And so I feel like that's just, there's just a big reminder of like, although you're in a good place and things are just getting better and they're going to continue to get better, and you're building your empire and you're, creating it with maybe someone in particular or a group of someone's, family, whatever, that, you're still going to experience those things, but to let them roll off your shoulder. Don't make it mean that you're not going down the right path. Don't make it mean that you're, you should put a halt to your creativity. It's just, the universe is kind of like testing you in a way, and just seeing how much you'll persevere in the face of these things. Well, can you let your intuition, your creativity, this higher force, be what continues to guide you, even when it seems like you're being met with roadblocks? It's almost like a fine tuning. It's like things start to get good. I had a teacher once call it the 3-day challenge, where it's like you have this burst of insight, this burst of creativity. You're experiencing a taste of this new reality. And then like things start to come up, and you have things in your external reality start to suggest to you that you're not on the right path, or this is not where you should be going, or it starts to suggest to you the opposite of what you were just feeling, and starts to give you glimpses of the opposite. And that's called the day 2 challenge, right? And the 3-day challenge, or the day 3 is a celebration. Whether the celebration happens within days, months, weeks, years, whatever, like as long as you persevere, it will happen. Okay. And so there's a sense of where you're going. There's, you're going to be met with so much success. You're going to continue to, I just see this person on a steady incline on this being. Like he just continues to go up here. We see an individual that's continuing to go up, right? Despite the challenges thrown at them, leaving, walking away from the Five of Wands energy, overcoming that, right? However, again, the master is always being fine-tuned. And so I feel like this is just a reminder, and you guys might be in that period right now where things have just been like so good and so beautiful. And now maybe you're starting to be met with a little bit resistance in your external reality. It's not meant to be a barrier. It's meant to only continue to shape you and fine-tune you, and to keep you very humble, and keep you very sober to the fact that the waves aren't going to stop coming. You just become a better surfer. And so you're now in that phase where you're becoming a better surfer. And again, I feel like just because this is where you've been, I can only assume you've been on a very long journey of getting to this place of feeling really good in yourself and creating a life that you're proud of, and living a life that's authentic, that's creative. To have this much creativity in a spread really tells me that you're not on this, I don't want to say straight and narrow, you're on your own straight and narrow. You're on your own path, right? What is that? You're walking the road less traveled, right? Because it's a road that's meant just for you. And so the obstacles that are coming up are obstacles that are meant just for you also, not to deter you, but to fine tune you in a very specific way, to grow you in a very specific way, right? Six of Swords is always the energy of like, it's better than you think it is. And it's all for a reason. But yeah, down the road, like, I see you as someone very financially free, very comfortable sharing that. The King of Pentacles is the most generous king of all, in terms of resources, in terms of love, in terms of whatever they have in excess of. And so I see you like traveling, going on adventures, and not letting the little things in life stick to you, and just seeing it all as just like this beautiful unfolding, this beautiful, all beautiful, all necessary part of the journey, part of who it is that you came here to be. And just someone that doesn't let what's happening on the surface, what's happening, you don't let life fool you, or what seems to be happening in your external world fool you. You have a deeper sense, a deeper connection to the divine, and you highlight that feeling, that connection where you're being pulled, that gravitational pull. By leaning into that, you just know that things are going to work out, right? And it's just going to keep getting better from here. Group number 3. This is dope. This was a great reading. So cool. If this was your reading today, leave a light bulb down below to check out the other fellow beings that this is a good space. Okay. This is fun. Creating all the memories with all the beautiful people. And I just feel such an overflow in the heart. Such an expansion in the heart, and a true excitement of like what's to come. And I'm excited for you. And please also like this video. It helps the channel, friends. I really do appreciate it. We'll see you soon.